Well, here we are. It is the month of April, the month of Easter, and it's time for our Pets and People column with our friend veterinarian, Dr. Marty Hobson. Welcome back, Marty.
Hi, Matt.
You didn't bring the Easter bunny, but I see lots of furry things running around the studio.
Look what I brought for you.
This is a guinea pig.
This is a guinea pig.
Who just peed on you, we should say.
Yes, but that's okay. I'm used to that. Yeah, this is Pumpkin, and she's a female guinea pig. And she's not mine. I've borrowed her just for the interview, but I've come to tell you about the joys and some of the considerations that you should have when you own a guinea pig or if you're thinking about owning one.
Pumpkin's beautiful. We have Jake here, too. Now, Jake's very comfortable with the studio, your dog. He's just chilling out. Pumpkin looks a little bit nervous right now. So what are the basics people need to know about guinea pigs?
Well, they make really great pets, and I was so surprised at what huge personalities. And, Matt, before I had a guinea pig of my own, I just didn't understand the bonds that people can have with rabbits and rats and ferrets. I respected it, obviously, but I just sort of didn't get it. And we had a guinea pig who passed away recently, but it was like he crawled into my heart and stole my soul. He was just so special. And they really can be amazing animals with huge personalities.
And they have quite a long lifespan for these kinds of little critters, right?
Yeah, 6 to 8 years versus rats and hamsters, which are more of a 2-year commitment. And they're really, really social. So I find it so fascinating that in Sweden and Switzerland, it's actually illegal to own just one guinea pig. You can have 0 guinea pigs or you can have 2 or more, but you can't have just one.
There's legislation on the books about this.
Yes, and in other European countries as well, which tend to be a little more strict on animal welfare regulations than we do in North America. So it's just considered bad practice to keep them alone. They're incredibly social herd animals. And so if you do have one, that's okay here in Canada, but you need to provide a lot of human stimulation or interaction with other pets. They can get along with other animals in the household too. So.
Pumpkin's looking pretty cozy on your lap right now.
Yeah, and she's a great girl.
What about their diet? What do they eat?
They need to eat a lot of fiber, and mostly that comes in the form of hay. And people used to just feed them pellets and think that was okay. But a good quality hay like Timothy needs to be there as their main source in their diet. And they need that for the nutrition and because of they're like little miniature horses, Matt. Did you know that?
No.
When you have a guinea pig, it's like having a miniature stable in your house. They smell like horses, they shed like horses, they eat like horses. But a really important thing about that hay is that they're hypsodonts. That means they have open-rooted teeth, and their teeth grow continuously. Rabbits are the same as well as horses and cows. So their front incisors, those front teeth, if they don't get enough hay, will grow longer and longer, and soon they don't meet properly. So they can end up with chronic jaw problems and not eating properly. So it's really important when you do have a guinea pig to think about how much are they eating, especially if you have more than one, right? You need to make sure everybody's eating. Everybody is also passing feces. And some people are even weighing their guinea pigs every week to make sure that there's no weight loss. Because with something so small, any change can be a really big deal.
And fluffy. It's hard to know what's actually weight under there. Yeah,
I know.
So hay, but is there more to this balanced diet for the guinea pig? Is there more they should have?
Yeah, they should have a lot of fresh greens like kale, spinach, different types of lettuces, some vegetables, and even fruit as well. Another problem is they can tend to get a little overweight, so you don't want to feed them too much that's high in sugar. Again, with the fiber, when I had a guinea pig, he would eat things like banana peels and orange peels, and even the core of an apple. I would just cut out the part with the seeds, and the rind of a watermelon.
That's handy.
It is. It was, sort of like having your own little garbage disposal.
Little compost buddy.
Little compost buddy, exactly. So we do give them pellets usually, but you want to make sure it's a kind that's formulated for guinea pigs, and that means that it has added vitamin C. Guinea pigs can't synthesize their own vitamin C in their bodies, so it's very important. They can get scurvy. We don't talk about that much in people anymore, but it's a very common thing in guinea pigs. And also, guinea pigs, some of them tend to be lazy, and pellets are easier to eat than hay for them. So if you give them too many pellets, they'll just eat that, and then pretty soon their teeth will be having issues.
So you were saying they're like little horses there. What about their stable? What about housing for these guys?
Another hugely surprising thing for me is that guinea pigs need a lot more room than one would think. And the standard pet cage companies are unfortunately generally making cages that are too small. Even for a single guinea pig, anything that you find in a pet store store is likely to be too small.
Okay.
Now, if that's all you have room for and you're giving your guinea pig lots of time to run outside the cage or outside, that's fine. But there's a new thing in the guinea pig world called the CNC cage. And that stands for cube and coroplast. And Matt, if you can imagine those wire sort of crates that you can get at Walmart to build storage shelves for yourself, you take those but build them flat, almost like a fence or a wall.
Okay, yeah.
And you can do part ceilings. And coroplast is that heavy-duty kind of signage material that you can go to a sign company and buy, and you build the base out of that. So there are all kinds of plans. Matt, people are building like apartment buildings for their guinea pigs. They're building castles. They're building huge mansions, 3 stories high with ramps and things coming up and down, and just really making a really nice enriched environment for their guinea pigs.
And for bedding, do you use shavings for that?
You can. Guinea pigs are prone to developing an infection in their feet called bumblefoot. So shavings can tend to be a little bit damp. So there's new stuff that's made of recycled paper. When I had a guinea pig, I was spending more on him than I was on the dogs and cats in terms of food and bedding. So some people make their own out of fleeces and use more blankets and that's going to be a lot of laundry, but potentially more inexpensive.
And what about going outside for guinea pigs?
It's awesome for guinea pigs to go outside. And in the summer, some people even house their guinea pigs outside as long as you have adequate shelter and protection from the elements. But even just a short time on the grass is really great. Grass is great for them to eat. They could eat dandelions, clover, all sorts of other weeds. I used to joke that our guinea pig was, a very long-term lawnmower. I would just move him around from place to place, and he would keep the grass kind of short. You need to be really careful about temperature. Guinea pigs don't sweat other than through their little soles of their feet, but they also can't pant. And so if they're out in the sun and don't have shade or are out there too long, it takes a matter of minutes before they can overheat and die.
Now, when you came into the studio here, it was a precious little moment when you brought Pumpkin out of the moving kennel you have here, and Jake came up, and they nuzzled together, seemed to get along great. I mean, Jake is used to guinea pigs, but generally, how do they get along with other animals?
It can be great. They get along. Pumpkin here lives with other dogs and cats, but any new introductions you'd want to supervise. The males are called boars, and the females are called sows, just like pigs, and guinea pigs get along with each other, but generally, it's recommended to do same-sex, boys with boys and girls with girls, because pretty soon you'll have a big guinea pig family. They reproduce quite readily.
The birds and the bees take over for the guinea pigs, right?
Yes, and baby guinea pigs mature really quickly. This is quite an astounding fact, but they would be ready to mate and be parents by the time they're just 8 to 12 weeks old.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so 2 months after you had some baby guinea pigs, you'd be having some more, and it can get quite complicated.
You have to build more and more onto this housing unit you've got. Yeah.
So there's tons of good information on the internet. Make sure that whatever site you're using, there is some veterinary involvement, and also check to see with your vet if there is someone there that has rodent experience.
But I have to say, throughout this entire interview, Pumpkin has just sat there on your lap, kind of like a lap dog, just relaxing. Marty, thanks so much for coming in.
Thanks, Matt.
That's Marty Hobson with our Pets and People column.